crime, Mafia. William Steele True Crime presents Mafia Mondays with my co-host Louis B., former Mafia organized crime detective from New York City. Louis, how are you?
I'm just awesome, thank you. How's yourself?
I'm doing okay, Louis. Hey, we circle back. We make plans. Sometimes plans fall through. I know you just recently got back from Vegas. We're gonna have some of your former colleagues on here. We're gonna circle back with Vic. Pretty Vic, detective who recommended this product here.
I left mine in the bedroom. Oh, I forgot it.
There you go. So Vic, we're gonna have him back. We're gonna have Ralph Friedman. He's a legendary detective in New
Yes.
York. Maybe you could tell my audience a little bit about him for about a minute. Who's gonna be our guest? Ralph, friend of yours.
He's one of the most highly decorated New York City detectives. He may have even been a sergeant as well. In my career, in the 13 years that I was out there banging around, I got more than 23 medals. I was put into the police department's honor legion. I got the third highest medal I could get, where you just about have to get killed or shot or what have you to get the medal. It's called a commendation. That allows you to be put into the police department's honor legion. Now everybody goes, "Oh, 23 highly decorated." This guy got 23 medals in a week.
Wow!
You got to see his chest. He's got, I believe, the Medal of Honor, this, that, the Combat Cross. He's just a tremendous, tremendous human being. And to look at him, you'd never know. He's just the nicest guy. Not a bad word comes out of his mouth. I friended him several years ago on Facebook. I've never met him personally. He has written some books and what have you. Just an awesome human being, as most cops are.
We definitely look forward to having him. I have my assistant here in the background, a little bit of noise going on. So we're going to hold down some background noise here if we can. All right. So I know you just came back from Vegas. Now, everybody who doesn't know Louis was an organized crime detective in New York. We're going to be doing this regular segment called Mafia Mondays. And so we're going to discuss all things organized crime. He was a highly decorated detective.
Highly? When you speak to Ralph, you'll know what highly means.
Well, I don't know. I got all this stuff on the thing here. You got to tell our audience what they mean.
Okay. The top medal with the star in it is called a commendation, and that puts you into the police department's honor legion. You get voted in there. You got to get close to getting hurt, or you have to be in severe danger, usually in a shootout or what have you. The next one underneath it is called the meritorious, and the numbers in the middle of that mean the amount of medals that I have in meritorious, and I think there's 3 there. And the other one underneath it is for it's an EPD. An EPD is excellent police duty, which are things that you did, robbery, arrest, something real good, very good. That's usually out of the normal realm of your everyday police duties. And you write these up; they have to be approved. The other one underneath it, the light blue, I actually have 2 of those. Those are given to an entire command for keeping stats low or what have you. Those are they're unit citations. I got 2 of those in my career, which is not, it means that I did part of the work, but we were a team. The other one underneath that was, I believe, the Liberty Medal, which we all got in 1986 or 87 when we had the bicentennial in New York. And then the other one underneath there is a bullshit sharpshooter, which we all wore, but nobody really knows if they're true or not.
Okay. So Louis did a major case years ago, Operation Wasteland in the mid-'90s with a bunch of other guys. The Undercover that you said got, some commendation, whatever, he got recognized. his name was out there. In one of the comments, somebody put his name in there and said that there actually is a documentary or something about him now. Is it Cowan or something like that? I
Yes.
forget. Yeah. I know you guys were cautious about putting his name out there, but somebody has already brought it out.
Yeah. I wouldn't put it out there out of respect for him. He did a great job. You know, he did. He got promoted twice off this case, and I applaud him. He did a real good job. What I don't like is none of the other guys that protected him and did the actual work of the case. We hung out to dry thanks to the upper echelon of the police department. And as I understand, Rudy Giuliani had something to do with it as well.
Right. He's got his own issues of some kind of corruption going on now.
Yeah, listen, he is who he is.
So you just came back from Vegas, Mafia Summit, Mob Summit, signing autographs, getting ready to market your book that's coming out soon.
Right.
And so you got a book coming out. You were all about business out there. I see you were very
I don't know who that guy is.
Very dedicated.
Somebody that I was with paid those two young ladies to come up there and put my arms around them while I smiled. It was just it's tough being me sometimes.
So Louis' career, listen, we have shows out about Louis, interviews with him. Then he agreed to be my co-host here for Mafia Monday segment. We're going to get deeper and deeper in different organized crime issue. Now, you know that season 2 of my show is out now. It's doing pretty well, not nearly as good as my first season 1. Everybody knows me from the Inmate's Roommate on A&E Network, second highest rated reality show in the country. And there goes that sign there that was on my wall when I got out of prison. And we're selling autographed copies of that now at fan request. So very grateful. Let me see what else is going on, Lou. So Ignacio, my other co-host, retired ATF agent, wrote this book. He's still on vacation. God bless him, with his family, and still fighting to keep Buc-ee's out of his hometown. There's some books I put out. Louis got a phenomenal book coming out soon. You could buy books and look for the links in the descriptions or the websites. And what else do we have here? Frank's going to be coming back to join us. Frank Lordi, he's finished with his surgery. He was supposed to come on this evening, but scheduling. So he's going to be back on with Louis and I on Wednesday of this week. We're going to get into things like political crimes. And he was framed for his stance against corruption. The people that were corrupt that he won his election against as a commissioner in Youngstown, Ohio, circled back and made up some charges against him. He's since been exonerated. So what a fascinating story. He's a dear friend. We're going to get into this Biden organized crime family. I mean, we can't talk about mafia, and this is a generic term. We're not talking about necessarily Italian mafia all the time. We're going to be talking about different organized crime groups, and I especially would love to hear stories like redemption stories, guys that turn their life around or they're doing something positive today. But in this case, you can't ignore the elephant in the room. You know, for whatever his illnesses he's going through with his memory and the dementia possibly with the president, you can't ignore the fact that he's demonstrably the most corrupt president in American history. Him and his family, the Biden crime family. So tens and tens of millions of dollars from our enemies all over the world that paid this man off. What do you make of what's going on with him and the targeting of Trump constantly with these political prosecutions?
First of all, let me say this. I live in the South, and people down here do not understand the meaning of organized crime. And when I explain to them some of the things that go on down here that can be organized crime covered under the RICO statutes, they tell me, we don't have any Italian mafia here. You don't need Italian mafia
exactly
to have organized crime. A blatant umbrella, I'm going to use this very loosely. If you got 2 or more people engaged in, I think it's 2 or more crimes that are related for the X amount of period of time, I think it's 7 to 10 years, you have organized crime. Now, there are banks that do organized crime. There are, my number one thing down here in the South and other places are these homeowners associations. They are by no stretch of the imaginations. They are organized crime, but the feds down here, for whatever reason, they don't charge them with the organized crime. Now, if you take a look at the Biden family, you got a group of people there that have been engaged in numerous crimes for years on end, okay, including money laundering, drugs, we don't know, to a point, firearms
Yeah.
possession. These are all crimes that could fall under the RICO statute. Now, I don't understand how they let these people get away with this.
Because there's a double standard. They seem to go after the Republicans, and all the stuff the Democrats do gets to slide for some reason. I don't know why. I mean, it's really disgusting. The Supreme Court just came back today with a very favorable ruling for Donald Trump, limiting the instances or the types of things that he could do that he could be prosecuted under. So the cases against him now are all being called into question, as well they should, at least the federal cases. And the whole world knows it's political persecution from the opposite
Yes.
party. It's just completely pathetic. The man's going to be president. They can't avoid it. Biden, everybody's been calling for him to resign and not run. And of course, he won't do it because his family thinks it's funny to put a man with dementia on a stage to make himself look terrible. I think it's tragic what his family's letting him go up there and do on a stage every day. His wife's a disgrace.
It's elder crime, if you're asking me.
Yeah, exactly. And she's on the cover of Vogue magazine like she's some kind of national hero. She's a criminal. She's exploiting her mentally ill husband at this point. So this is just the misery of this party. I have many friends who are Democrats. Don't get me wrong, but it is such a disarray and out of tune with like what the entire country was founded on. It's beyond belief, and they're getting exposed left and right because you can't continue to do all this corruption and keep getting away with it, especially in this environment where everybody's informing on each other, everything's recorded, everything's got a video or a tape. So there's not much that they can do anymore to get away with anything. It's just terrible. So then you saw the debates the other night. Did you watch the debates?
Yeah, I watched what I could understand of it.
I like.
I don't know.
I love when Biden answers something and it was complete gibberish, and then so they asked Trump, "So what's your position on that?" What he just said. He looked at him. Now Trump took the high road. He didn't ridicule him for his dementia, because then he'd be ridiculed for that too, of course. But so he just looked at him like he says, "I don't know what I think of he just said. I don't understand what he just said, and frankly, I don't think he understood what he just said."
The guy's got a problem. We have to all step up to the plate and realize what's going on here. If God forbid we were attacked by Russia or one of these major terrorist groups or what have you, would you really want that guy sitting in the driver's seat who's got the codes to the bombs that we could use? That guy can't match his shoes to his socks. He doesn't know who he is. He can't walk. Did you see his wife had to help him by the hand to walk down the stairs after the debate last week. It's a sin, is what it is.
He wanders in the wrong direction, trying to shake hands with people that are not even standing there. There's no one there. He's done it repeatedly. He's turned in the opposite direction, trying to shake hands. Then he goes like this, and then like just completely lost. I mean, how do you put somebody like this on stage again and again? And the people around him just want to stay in power, and that's why they won't remove him, because if he goes, they'll get replaced. So they won't do what needs to be done. Remove him from power. The thing is, they are going to substitute him. They're not going to let him run for president at all. They're not going to nominate him, and the nomination has to be done before the convention. So the Democratic convention, and I'm not sure when it is, but my biggest concern is they're going to put somebody 1,000 times worse and more corrupt than him, if that's possible, Hillary Clinton back in. Now you're going to have a matchup between him and her and Trump again, and the Democrats might rally behind her. Right now they're bailing out of the party left and right. I know so many Democrats that are over it. They said you might as well vote for Trump because at least he's helped this country. Gas prices and food prices weren't so high. People were treated decently. He's a bit of a shit talker. He's from New York. Sometimes we speak our mind and we say things that people can find incendiary or whatever. I mean, you and I discussed that earlier today. Sometimes we're misunderstood.
I'm one of those people.
Right, me too. Sometimes we're misunderstood. We come across a little direct or hard, and we don't mean no harm in it. And so Trump, he's known for putting his foot in his mouth like any other New Yorker. So, and the rest of the country is easily offended. So I mean, I don't get it. Like I had an incident at a counter of a store the other day, and they're like, "Why are you getting aggressive?" I'm like, "I haven't even raised my voice. I haven't used profanity. What are you talking about?" The manager comes over. Gonna have to ask you to leave the store. I said, "Leave the store." I said, because you're from the Midwest and can't understand a New York accent, I'm a problem. I'm suddenly a problem here, you know. And there's a lot of great people here. Don't get me wrong. I love the Midwest as far as the people. I miss the ocean. I love the beach in South Florida. But yeah, just people are perceived differently. There's very little understanding. They claim to have all the understanding and tolerance in the world, but until they encounter somebody different, then you're the problem.
The most, in my humble opinion, I'm living down in the South here for 12 years. When I first came down here, I thought I died and went to heaven. The longer I live here, these are the most bigoted people I have ever met.
Yeah.
Down here, I was told on numerous occasions that I'm not considered white. I'm a Yankee Italian from New York, and they don't consider me white. Well, I guess I'm not white then. I am treated like gold from the numerous black people and black friends that I have down here. And we don't, this is not about color. This is about character. Okay. I'm inviting a bunch of black friends over for 4th of July, coming to my house. My home is their home. They know me. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. The world's turned upside down. The group that screams that they want tolerance is completely intolerant of everybody else.
Let me say this about Donald Trump. He's very vocal. I think that at times he should work, and he should have stayed off Twitter or whatever he was doing. I'm not on Twitter. He should have done things a little bit more presidential and professional. In 1989, I did a case for him at one of his hotels. He had somebody in there who was a drug dealer. And if you know the guy, and I never met him, I worked with his people. I happen to know his niece very well. I've been to her home. I've been to the Taj Mahal, thanks to Mr. Trump and his niece.
Yeah, I've been there several times. I think they tore it down now, but I remember in the late 80s, early 90s, it was great.
I was there in the 90s, and it was a wonderful place. I was very successful for Mr. Trump. I kept the case under wraps. He's a real straight shooter. He doesn't drink. He doesn't smoke. Yeah, listen, he's got a roving eye. Shame on you. We're men, okay? We could window shop. I window shop. I got 2 eyes. Until they close, I'm going to look. It's when you cross the line that makes you a little bit wrong. But listen, it is what it is. I'm not condoning any of it, but he gave me more accolades for doing what I did for him than the NYPD.
Yeah, he's helped a lot of people in private that you'd never know about. His employees sending their kids to school and
yes,
hiring plenty of minorities and people from other countries. And, you know what? These people privately have come forward and said what a great person he is to work for. But he's never put that out in front of everybody. I mean, that's even talked about in the Bible. You don't toot your own horn, otherwise you lose your blessings in heaven. You let other people do it for you. You do it because it's the right thing to do and you move on. That's it. You don't have to talk about it. So, keeping in that, I'd like to give somebody a shout out real quick. I had a fan. She actually jumped on when we did the TikTok the other day. Jen, I don't know if you remember Jen.
Yeah.
So she's a very nice lady. She's a fan. So she wanted to bless me because my stand was a little wiggly and all that. So she sent me this. I got this the other day.
Oh, that's very nice of her.
It's a selfie stick that kind of like you can open the bottom and it stands and all this stuff. And, it's got the legs on it, the whole 9 yards. So I just want to give her a thank you publicly for this. And then she had these in the box.
Wow, look at her.
I think she said she likes this type of drink. She wanted to tell everybody about it. So I tried it last night for the first time. It was actually very, very good. So I'm not getting any money.
We're friends on Facebook, and what I like to say to her is, I need a shoebox full of 100 size 13 triple E. If she has them, send them my way.
You know what I'm going to do? Because I have so many fans offering to help me like improve the show and, get on with my life. And there's a lot of things I still don't have, after prison. I just, there's a lot of things I don't have. I heard there's something called, like on Amazon, you can set up like a gift registry or something like that. I forget what they call it. I may just set one of those up with a list of things that I would like or need. If fans want to donate, they donate. Other than that, if you want to donate to what I'm doing, my fans can go to, I have a Cash App set up. It's, I don't know, usually I can put it on the screen here. So it's, I think it's like William Steele at Cash App or Cash App William Steele. But anyway, I'll put that in the link if anybody wants to help out with any of the work that we're doing here. And again, the book links are going to be in the description. I want to mention another case also, Louis. Now, you're not following it very much, but I am. The Karen Reed case. I believe the jury is still in deliberation up in New England. Lady backed into her. She had a fight with her boyfriend. He was a cop. He was going to a party. She drops him off in the snow, pissed off, drives home alone. And she gets to the house, and after he's not home for a few hours, she's like, and he's not responding to her text. She flies out of her garage backwards, and the snow made her slide into her fence. She taps her fence. You can see it moving on the surveillance camera, and she pulls out. Well, she broke her taillight right in front of her own house, in front of her own garage by doing that because she pulled out so fast. She goes over there. I think it was her that found him dead in the driveway. So now the guy's dead in the driveway where she just dropped him off a few hours before. But the glass from her taillight mysteriously appears in the snow right in that area. So either it fell off when she pulled in there or somebody planted it. The theory of her trial is the cops that were inside partying, who were already, unbeknownst to them, under an FBI investigation from allegedly widespread corruption. The FBI was already on to these guys. That they had beat him up, let one of the dogs in the house attack him. He's got significant dog bite marks all over him. And then they're cops who are having a party. They're probably high, drinking, whatever. They throw him out in the snow thinking he's going to wander home and lick his wounds, I guess. He dies in the snow in front of the house.
I think that was declared a mistrial today.
Oh, was it really? So,
yes.
Okay. We got to look into that. I don't know the status of it. If my assistant knows the status, if somebody can let me know. Is there any ruling on Karen Reed? Anyway, last I heard a few hours ago, they were still deliberating, so that might have come down recently. But we just want to keep covering these cases, especially this nightmare that Trump's going through. Imagine this man wins presidency after going through all this. He was the bigger man and didn't seek the prosecution of his political enemies when he was in office, and he says he's not going to do it this time. But I think it's time, gloves off. He's got so much dirt on people like Schumer and people like Adam Schiff, these corrupt prosecutors and judges. He should order the Justice Department take a fair and unbiased look at these people and what they've done. Enough's enough. Whether I was president or somebody else, it shouldn't have happened. I'm going to stay away from the investigation, but I'm going to order it investigated. And then let the Justice Department make their own decisions about whether they get prosecuted. Try to be as transparent, but he should definitely order them to investigate each and every one of these people that prosecuted him for political reasons.
What I want to know is, how is this DA from Manhattan? Now, I worked in the DA's office for 13 years, in and out, knew a lot of people there. How does this guy become a multimillionaire? I don't know what his salary is, $200,000, $190,000. How is he worth over $40-something million today? Why isn't anybody looking at that?
Because the corrupt Democrats been paying him off to go after Trump. Bottom line. And whether he goes to prison or not, when this is over with and he gets disbarred, he doesn't care. He has all that ill-gotten gains. He has probably a $5 or $10 million advance on a book that he'll write about this. And he doesn't care if he's a lawyer again or a prosecutor. He'll go do 2 or 3 years, get out, and be a wealthy guy. Let's hope they seize all his money too. The same thing with the corrupt lady, the Banana Republic lady in Atlanta. What's her name?
The prosecutor there was having the affair with the
So
guy.
let's meet with all the Democrats. Let's go visit the White House, and a week later prosecute Trump for something that's completely fabricated there as well. So she's heading to prison now herself because she lied. The phone records and others gave her up that she's a liar. She was in an affair with this guy, and she was using county money and money from this case that was given for this case for personal trips, for personal business, vacations with the boyfriend. So, and they lied about where they were and when they were there at that little hideaway, and both of their phones are pinging off the same residence at, and they claim they were never together at that place. I mean,
When he
these
was
prosecutors, they should know the trick about the cell phones.
when they asked him a question on the stand there, he was like,
Yeah.
looked all around, and he finally said, no. They already had him.
He was doing the legal math. He's like, I'm really screwed. Maybe if I pull a Joe Biden on him and act like I don't know where I'm at, this will go away. But and then the father, Fannie Willis, then her father testifies. He was one of the original, I want to say, was it a Black Panther or something like that? The prosecutor's father was like a Black Panther. It's just so, they claim Trump's racist, but everybody who works for him, the black people, have said exactly the opposite. He's wonderful towards everybody. They just create complete fabrications because they know people won't do the homework and look into it. They'll just believe it.
Unbelievable.
You're still going to vote for Biden?
I'm voting for Biden. Yes, I am.
for dog catcher. Look at the dogs. And which way did he go? Which way did he go?
I don't know. You know what's scared? I have grandchildren, and my grandchildren have to be raised not to be children. They have to be raised to be survivors. Okay, that scares me. When I was a kid, I got up in the morning, I had breakfast, I was out. 12 o'clock, I came home. My mother had no idea where I was or what I was doing. Okay, we'd have dinner, we'd go out and do the dishes, I go out. And then when the street lights came on, 9 o'clock or whatever, I had to be back in the house. We didn't worry about people trying to take us, rape us, or, we just played out in the street, and we were respectful to adults. And respect is something that, it's a word that we lost a long, long time ago.
Yeah. It's a crazy world. Even I did 18 years, everybody knows, for nonviolent crime. I got out. It's a whole new world. Every last person you have any kind of interaction with claims to be like you're wrong. No matter what you do, if you believe differently than them, you committed some kind of crime, and that's not the case. If you're a Christian and not like them, you committed a crime. If you assert yourself to stand up for your rights or the rights of others, including crime victims, you're the criminal, not the criminal. The world has been turned completely upside down since I went to prison. I'm like, what is wrong with these people?
There's, I don't know how you did 18 years.
In a heartbeat.
I don't think I could. Listen, 18 years, I get claustrophobia going to the toilet. And you did 18 years in jail. How did you ever do that? Your mind is extremely, extremely strong.
I try to stay away from most people, be honest with you. I stayed in the books. I took some college and university courses. I wrote books. I wrote screenplays. I stayed in my Bible. I just did positive things. I was a law clerk for many years, and now we actually advocate for people that are wrongfully convicted, including these guys here. Most of these guys are out of Fresno County, highly corrupt county. And we have wrongful conviction Wednesday segment that we're trying to put up on a regular basis. But I did it like helping other people. Frankly, pretty much what I'm doing now. I use my past to help people today. I do crime prevention shows. That's one of the things I wanted you to touch on today. We talked about.
Okay.
You were gonna get into some of that. What do you have on your mind?
Okay, I got my shirt on. Let me turn. It says UWT. It's a system of training that I created called Ultimate Warrior Training. Okay, and what I try to do is use my street savvy to keep people safe. I'm going to ask you a question. Where are you most vulnerable out in the street?
In my opinion, it's when you're getting in and out of your car.
Correct.
Especially in indoor parking garages.
Correct. Okay. And I learned this from one of the hitmen that was on my case, Operation Wasteland. We had a guy who was a hitman, and I spoke to him, and he gave up some of his secrets. And now I carry a firearm. It's on my right side. We do the same thing. We're creatures of habit. I put my right foot in. Okay. I put the key in the ignition. I leave that door open just a little bit. I start the car, put my left leg in, and close the door. What this guy used to do was just wait till you put your right leg in, and he caught you while you were getting in your car. Now, I fall on my gun to the side. I can't fight. I cannot fight at all.
Right.
So one of the things that I suggest is for people to carry a ball peen hammer and keep it in their door, a small light one, okay? Because when I'm down on my right hand, at least I could grab with my left hand and strike to the back of the hand or in the top of the lip. Okay, the reason why I strike the back of the hand, it's a concept from the Indonesians called defanging the snake. When I break that hand, and these will break very easily, these are chicken bones. Okay, it's very painful, and a guy will pull his hand back. That's number one. Number two, you got the bull peen hammer, you get trapped in the car, you can break the window. If you're carrying a baseball bat in the back, cops know you're looking for trouble, or a crowbar. You don't want to do that. But a ball peen hammer it's got two things that you could do with it. First of all, escape out of the car, or use it to hit somebody in the face. I could grab it out of my door handle. Okay, another thing. Go ahead.
People don't realize the side windows on cars. You could pretty much, most people, with all their might, punch them and they're not breaking. There's a rare person that could break those. But if you hit it with that, you said that metal.
Yes.
And back years ago in New York, when we were stealing cars, and you were a cop, you probably know this trick. The broken piece of a porcelain spark plug, right?
What is it?
A piece of porcelain from a spark plug. You shatter a spark plug on some concrete. You get a piece of porcelain. All you have to do is this, and it shatters car windows.
Look at that. See, I learned something today.
Ball bearings do the same thing. Steel ball bearing, just basically toss it at a car window.
It's a lot of force in a small area. That's
I think because it's more dense than the window somehow. That's on the tempered glass, which is your side windows. So what a lot of people recommend, like in Florida, there's a lot of canals, and a lot of people drive into canals. They can't get out because if they try to open their door, the flooding water in makes them panic, or they can't open their door because they're pinned.
Right.
They have to break those windows. You're not breaking it with your hands. The electric might have gone out on the car because you're underwater now. But what they'll sell a lot of people is like the center punches for like the finish nails.
That's exactly.
The spring loaded. They're spring loaded right on the glass.
Exactly.
Shatters.
I have one in my car. And I have the ball peen hammer as well.
It helps you get out of the car when it's underwater real fast. You have to wait until the car floods. Take your last breath of water. The car floods, and then you swim to the surface.
Another thing that people don't think of, okay, when you go to sleep at night, have a pair of shoes close by. Have a pair of pants close by. I can't fight in my drawers. Okay. If there's a fire, or an emergency, you want to have pants and a pair of shoes to run. Okay, right. You can't. I see people going on the planes. They're wearing flip-flops. If you had an exigent circumstance, an emergency, you're going to run in flip-flop? Get out of here. Also, go ahead.
It's funny. You talked about having the pants ready. Everybody knows in my day I was doing very, very high-end, burglaries, jewel thief, art thief. There was a house in Fort Lauderdale. The people weren't supposed to be home. I get in there at nighttime. It's probably midnight. And what I would do is I get in, I go to the front door, I prepare my exit in case somebody is there and I could get out without having to slow down, unlock anything else, right? So I'm in, there's nobody there. I go to the front door to unlock it and get my exit ready. My car is like 3 houses down. It's a stolen car parked on somebody's lawn, right? In case something happens, I got the keys and ignition. I could jump right into the car and go. All of a sudden, this guy opens the door to the master bedroom. He's got a gun in his hand. He's butt naked. Yay! He's screaming at me, and he chases me, and I'm running to the car, and he's taking shots at me. Thank God he missed. Didn't hit the car, didn't hit me, and I got away. So That's why it's important to have pants near the bed, because a guy like me comes around.
Yeah, no two ways about it. Okay, that's number one. Number two, take
And
your
I and I and I
keys.
I tell my stories and I can laugh because by the grace of God I survived all this craziness. But I tell these stories today to get your attention, but to do not follow in my footsteps and listen to my stories about crime prevention and Louis' stories about crime prevention and Ignacio's. And he's got some more advice for us.
Okay. Take your car keys with your remote on them. If you don't have an alarm system in your house, you hear something that's not right, set off the alarm on your car. It makes a lot of noise. Sooner or later, somebody's going to respond to that noise. The guy who hears the alarm going off is going to most likely take off. Have
Right.
your home very well lighted. The ball peen hammer I spoke about. Okay, most people, what I teach, the Ultimate Warrior Training, I teach awareness, avoidance, aggressively escape. Awareness is number one. The world is like this today. They're not aware of anything that goes on. I constantly swivel. Okay? I worked in security in stores, and I knew the guy who comes in and he looks to the left, to the right, up, down. He's either looking for security or he's looking for what he's going to steal. And that's the guy I'm going to stay with. And you just develop that sixth sense and you know what to do. Avoidance. You get out of your car, okay, and you're walking towards the store and there's a bunch of guys there. And when you don't get that warm, fuzzy feeling, make a U-turn. Avoid it. Okay? The only time you fight is when you have to aggressively escape. Now, I'll ask you this. What is the number one target in the world to stop somebody right in their tracks?
What's the number one target?
Yeah. Where would you hit somebody if you had to hit them?
If I was barehanded and were right up on me?
You're coming out of the store, you got a container of milk.
Throat or solar plex, something like that.
See this here?
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you stand on that. Nothing's going to happen to me.
Okay.
Okay. I've seen guys take a good shot in the groin, and they don't break stride. You've seen people in the heat of the battle. I'm sure you've seen it in prison. Guys are getting cracked with chairs and this and that. They don't stop. There's one target that I believe in that has worked for me 1,000 times, and that's the eyes. Mm. You cannot fight me. If you can't see me, you can't hurt me. And you have what's called a primal flex response. When I get to your eyes, you do this. When you do this, it gives me a smorgasbord of targets to hit you and hurt you. Okay, so I developed a technique, which I can't show you now. I'm going to hit your eyes at will. If I got to spit in your face, I'm going to spit in your face. If I have my beer bottle, water bottles right in the face, the hands come up. It gives me time to run away. And
sounds like Sweet Home Alabama was coming on.
That's what it is.
That's your ringtone?
Yep.
I heard like 2 notes.
All right, let me get that off. Another thing that I carry, especially when I travel on a plane, I carry a cane. I have 2 knee replacements. When I sit too long, I'm very stiff. When I was going through my therapy and what have you with the knee replacements, I use the cane. I'm not embarrassed of it. If I sit on a plane and I get up off the plane, I'm a little shaky. I have the cane with me. That cane is my weapon of choice. It's completely legitimate to have. It is my humble opinion. If there were 5 guys on the plane on 9/11 and they had canes and the guys came out with box cutters, guess what? Maybe those buildings wouldn't go down. Now, I am severely trained in multiple martial arts, and there's no martial art that you're going to learn on the face of this earth that is going to be they're selling Brazilian jiu-jitsu like it's the coup d'etat. It's a sport. Sports have rules. Rules keep you from getting hurt. Judo has rules. Karate has rules. The street has no rules. The rule is I'm going home. And you got to get that in your mind, and that has to be your mindset. when I teach martial training, I teach something called strange pain. And people go, what the hell is strange pain? Strange pain is a pain the body isn't used to feeling. And when they feel it for the first time, the mind tells the body, retreat. You're not used to getting poked or slashed or have something being stuck in your eye. And I can hit you at will. I will set you up. I do this with women. So, another thing. People who have guns in their home, the gun has to be loaded. Do not keep your shotgun underneath your bed. The first place the bad guy goes is under the bed, or he goes in the closet. I have places where I could teach you how to put that gun, and I'm not going to say it here because then the bad guys are going to know. You can hide it in plain view. People will not even know it's there. The gun has to be loaded. You're not going to have time to start putting rounds in it. Now, with a shotgun, I recommend for your home a pump shotgun. Load the gun. Do not put a round in the chamber. You hear something, the shotgun has a universal language. When you rack that round, shh, shh. Nobody puts their head around the door to see if you're bluffing or not, okay? Because their mama's going to cry. Shotgun is a deadly weapon. You do not need an AR-15, an AK-47. If you think you're going to be a crackerjack shot with a 9mm, you know, you're going to be blown rounds through the halls, through the wall. God forbid. You have to have a plan. That's number one.
That was my biggest concern going in the house, you know, that I would come across somebody like you, an off-duty cop, sleeping, you know, maybe works nights, whatever, SWAT team guy. And here I am thinking that, you know, it's free and clear. I'll tell you what, I think I told you, I hit Sheriff Nick Navarro's house in Broward County, Florida, in the late 80s. And when I went in, there was a detective 5-shot special pistol on a nightstand covered in dust. And it was the Colt little 5-shot revolvers. Remember those? I don't know if there are a lot of them around still.
The 5-shot, yeah, that's a very popular gun back in the day.
Right, exactly. So this was the sheriff of Broward County, Fort Lauderdale. He was on all the original cop shows. You remember him as the sheriff with all the white hair, Sheriff Nick Navarro. Anyway, so I'm the guy that hits his house. I go in. I go through a bedroom window, disable the alarm screen that they had there, see that gun, so I grab it. Usually I won't arm myself during a burglary, but little did I know, Florida has laws. You can get up to a life sentence if you steal a gun from a house in a burglary. I didn't know it at that time. And I was stealing a lot of guns. We were sending them to New York and you know, whatever. But so as I passed the front door, like you said, the sound of the racking gun, I heard a click and I froze like, oh man, I'm dead. I thought somebody drew down on me and chambered around in a pistol or something, or pulled back a hammer or slide or something. It was a loud click. And I looked over by the front door and it was an old relay for a photo electric eye. Remember the old ones you walked in the store, they were boxes and they had the beam of light. He still had the old alarm system there, you know, probably remnant of it. I don't think it was hooked up, but the relay in there, you could hear it in a quiet house. And man, I thought somebody drew down. When I saw that and I realized what it was, I breathed a sigh of relief. I quickly went to the bedroom, got what I wanted to get, left. But yeah, I would dread that sound. If I was in the house and I heard somebody racking a shotgun,
some guys have overkill in their house. You know, an AR-15, it's a great gun, but it's made for the outside. You know, an AK-47, 7.62 by 39, that goes through car doors. You fire at this guy, you miss. You're killing your kid in the bedroom. First of all, you have to have a plan.
You might even hit the neighbor in their bedroom.
Anything can happen. You know, they'll blow out bricks and what have you. When we'd have in my house, we have a plan. The alarm goes off. I go to the threat. My wife takes care of the kids. And the kids will stay in their bedroom and drop down on the floor until somebody comes to get them.
Right.
Just the way it goes.
Hey, I got some breaking news here coming in right now, Louis. It was coming in just before we started the show.
Okay.
So, breaking news. Jeffrey Epstein bombshell. The documents in his grand jury proceedings have been unsealed today after 16 years. Now, I was the only person that came forward and wrote a book about this that names names. This is the book that names names. It's called Ghislaine, Sensational and Impure. I knew Ghislaine Maxwell years ago in Palm Beach before she became infamous and noticed a lot of weird things going on in the Palm Beach house. And I left. I actually left with evidence for the authorities, and they did nothing about it. I'm not the only one that came out of that house with reports of what was going on, and nothing was done about it, as we know, for many, many years and many victims later. And she's still in prison. So there's breaking news. My phone's exploding with this right now. So if you guys want to know a little bit more, and I'm the only book that names names, and everybody said I would get sued for putting this book out. It's been out 3 years. I haven't got sued. It's been doing very well. It's on my website, williamstaleauthor.com, and my phone's blowing up with news on this case right now. Ghislaine Maxwell, is still in prison in Florida, in federal prison, serving a 20-year sentence. The big fear everybody has is that she's going to start cooperating and naming names because she's in her 60s, and nobody wants to age and die in prison. So that's just coming across. I don't know if you're getting alerts about this case right now, but it's coming up.
Not yet. Not yet. Did she ever ask for me? Did she mention my name?
I think you want some of the videos with Prince Andrew.
No. Listen. These people got problems. The perversion in this world is unbelievable. It's all over Hollywood. It's all over. Look.
I dedicate that book in the forward, in all my books, because I write these books with an eye towards crime prevention and crime victim advocacy. And I put a quote from John Burke in the beginning of all my books, and it says, all that's needed for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. So
that's correct.
I have one small key to this story, and I put it out there years ago. A friend of mine interviewed me on his show about it, put one clip up, one thing I said, that was it. That's in that book. It had like 3 or 4 million views in like a 2-day period. And it was so explosive. The Clintons moved against TikTok and had it taken down. So it's things that have never been revealed before. And nobody's bothered to sue me. You know why? Because to sue me or kill me, the story gets even bigger. So I also write these kind of books, Louis. You remember this one?
No.
This is about
you know how to open up those vaults?
Well, if I told you, I'd have to,
Tell me. All right, I understand.
Listen, I went to the New York School of Locksmithing, Safes, and Alarms on 42nd Street. Graduated top of my class. I had 2 security companies in New York. I used my skills as a locksmith to commit burglaries all over the United States, millions of dollars. I used to pose as Donna Karen's brother and go to see houses, open houses, this and that, and then come back and hit the houses. But this book is about a real burglary that happened in a bank vault over a 3-day weekend right outside Chicago in the 80s. And can't tell you much more than that, other than I offer my crime prevention techniques in this book to show the world how that this didn't have to go down like that. And I'm trying to see if I could pull it up a little better, but it absolutely could have been avoided. So that's my latest book that's out now. So the second you get your book out, we're going to keep putting it on the screen for you too.
No, I appreciate that. I got to get that. I have a literary agent working with me now. I'm in the process. It's a long process, and everybody that you talk to puts a hand in your pocket.
Yep.
And, I am not, this is the first book I've ever done, and I'm going to be very, very careful because if something gets attached to it, like a full feature film, you think that lady who wrote Harry Potter ever thought that Harry Potter was going to take off like a rocket ship? She's a multi-bazillionaire now. So, I'm watching.
Check out Louis' story. It's called Wasteland. There's already a documentary out about it. There's information on my site.
Mine is Revenge Served Cold. Wasteland is the case.
That's your book. That's your book, your documentary, Wasteland. Now, you already have your documentary made. If you ever want to do another one, look me up because we're rolling into the production of documentaries as well. And I have 2 people I'm starting to work with, and we're going to be doing, one's going to be a 3-part documentary, true crime. Another one we're looking into is a police officer that him and many others in Texas were set up by some corrupt cops who themselves are now in trouble. And this cop did like 20-something years in prison. And we're looking seriously at his case, as is a retired FBI agent. Everything's been confirmed. He was set up. He went to prison as a good cop, an innocent man, and he wants to tell his story. So Matt Warman, we're going to be telling that story hopefully soon. So I want to give a shout out also. Ciro DiPaggio put me in a movie called Silent Partners. That's going to be streaming in a few weeks. I believe in theaters as well. And then another prison comedy we're going to start filming soon called Suitcasing. And you could probably imagine what that's about. So it's about smuggling contraband into prisons and the comical ways that goes down. It's a prison comedy. So I just I'm kind of on a roll. It's a surreal experience, and I'm thrilled to have co-hosts like yourself and Ignacio.
Well,
And
it's very much appreciated. It's very much, I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy sharing. I shoot straight from the hip. That's the only way I want to be. You talk about corruption in the police department. Yeah, there was corruption way back when. It was more in the 60s and 70s. I came in on a cusp of when things were changing. And we basically, I know in the precinct that I was in, we took care of our own problems. We kept it in house. You know what I mean? If a cop was screwing up, we don't want any heat brought down on us. That cop will get he'll understand. His locker will get put in the shower upside down. If that didn't work, the locker would go out the window. And then if that didn't work, some senior guy would take him into the garage and let him know what time it is. It's a different world. Men were men.
Louis was a detective and a police officer in the hardcore part of New York City, and a mafia detective, and in a different era.
I worked in a shithole.
Yeah.
Okay.
So listen, for my audience and for YouTube algorithms and all that, we are talking about, past history, things that are in the media, crime prevention based upon our experiences. We're not promoting any type of illegal, but we're preventing crime prevention, educating the public from our past and our experiences. And I know that's where your heart's at today. So that's where mine's definitely at. So, Louis, we're going to sign off here, and we're going to see you in a few days.
Always a pleasure.
All right. It was great to see you. Thank you for being so concerned about my health. I had a little bit.
Oh, listen. Look, you call me 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm getting in the car.
I appreciate that.
That's just the way it
makes me feel like I'm back in New York because I don't meet many people like that in this town.
You can't have enough friends in this world.
It means a lot to me. Thank you very much.
Look, you did what you did. It means nothing to me. It's who you are today and how you treat me. That's all I care about. And so far, you've been. Give me a little kiss before we sign off.
So why don't you see if you can get Ralphie scheduled for like Thursday or something like that? Maybe we do a 10 a.m. slot.
Thursday's 4th of July.
Oh, that Thursday's the 4th. Oh, let's figure it out for maybe Friday or something. We'll do it.
All right, we'll work it out.
All right, you take care,
Louis.
Right,
brother. God bless. Say hello to your assistant behind you there.
I will.
And have yourself a great evening.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.